Equal World. Our presentation today will be on the intersection of brutal solidarity and sisterhood by our own community colleges of Spokane trustee Kianta Duncan in collaboration with the International Week Committee. My name is Ada Estrada. I'm the Dean of Global Education and Strategic Partnerships at CCS, and I will be helping to moderate today's session. Before we begin, I do have a couple of brief housekeeping items to review with you. First, all attendees are currently in listen-only mode. However, we do encourage your participation in the session by asking questions to the presenter, and you can do so by using the question box located on the right-hand side of your Zoom screen. You will be able to do that at the end of the session. There will be a formal Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Additionally, we are recording today's session, so you can look forward to seeing a copy of the recording in the coming days. And now I'd like to introduce today's presenter, Trustee Kianta Duncan. Kianta Duncan is a seasoned leader with over 25 years of leadership experience and has dedicated her career to supporting marginalized and disproportionately impacted communities and is recognized nationally as a community builder and mobilizer. Trustee Duncan has extensive experience bringing people together to have challenging conversations and develop solutions for and as a commitment to civic engagement, she currently serves as the president of the Spokane NAACP. She also serves on the Washington State Coalition Against Domestic Violence, Washington State boards and communities, including the Spokane Community Colleges Board of Trustees, Spokane Public School Board Diversity and Advisory Committee, Karl Maxey Center Advisory Board Committee, and many more. And with that, I would like to turn the virtual mic over to Trustee Duncan to take things away.
Thank you very much, Hada. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to ask you right now, because it's just what I do, please turn your camera on if at all possible. I like to see who I'm talking to, and in this very uncomfortable virtual world, I like to see your faces. Good morning to those of you who I recognize on the call. Good morning, Grace. Good morning, Dr. Hunt. Good morning, Miss Pam. Good morning, Mr. Keith. Good morning. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Bradley, Beck. Thank you. Good morning, Darlene. All of these faces that are so friendly and familiar to me, I'm happy to see this morning. Thank you to the Spokane Falls Community College for once again inviting me to have a conversation with you. I like to tell people that the intro and the bio is really all of the boring stuff. The fun stuff is that I'm a grandmother of 2. That's the fun stuff. The fun stuff is also that I've seen a lot of life. I've seen a lot of life, and that's far more interesting than just my career goals and accomplishments. So I had the opportunity to come and speak with you all today about brutal solidarity from a lens of sisterhood as we are celebrating International Women's Month, and we are also celebrating all sorts. I mean, we just came out of Black History Month. Like, there's so much going on in this first quarter of the year. And so as we have been thinking about this idea, and I've been speaking about it around the city quite a bit, this idea around brutal solidarity and what that looks like, I wanted to give you an opportunity for us to look at that through a gender-based lens. Now, I believe it was 1964, Dr. King gave a speech, and it was his speech about Vietnam. And in the speech, he talked about brutal solidarity, and he talked about this moment where soldiers who were going to war in Vietnam together would then come home, and Black soldiers could not go to the same restaurants. They could not go into the same buildings. They were not given the same rights. And so Dr. King introduced us to this concept of brutal solidarity, which would mean that if we are able to fight together as a country, then we must be also able to live together as a country when we are not at war. And so that was, to me, it struck me just so differently than any of his other words did, because I realized that that is still happening in places today in 2021. And when you think about how brutal solidarity looks in relationship to women and our connections or disconnections to each other, that gave me even more to think about. And so hopefully today I will be able to share with you some of those thoughts and give you something to think about when you walk away from this conversation. At the end, we are going to offer you a chance to ask questions or just give your input into the conversation. And I look forward to that most of all. So the thing that I was thinking about was, should I address this conversation from a global perspective? So should I talk about how we could come together as a global community of women? I did consider it. I declined. I also considered, should I talk about this from a national perspective? How we as women nationally can support each other and how we can gain momentum for all women if we were to do so. And I declined that one as well. So I decided ultimately that I wanted to tell you about what brutal solidarity amongst women has looked like in my own life. That's the best story that I can tell you, and it's the best examples that I can give you. My first, what I am calling, there's about 5 different little mini situations that I want to tell you all about. The first one comes from what I consider to be my first interaction with brutal solidarity, as much as a 5-year-old mind can know. So I have a TEDx talk, and many of you have seen it before because we've been on other calls, but in the TEDx talk, I talk about having been a child who experienced 10 out of 10 ACEs. So the ACEs are adverse childhood experiences. And so as a child, very early on, I was, always sort of in the mix of uh, disruption, really, and in pain and trauma as an early child. But one of the people that I remember who literally changed the way some of my life went was a young lady by the name of Nicole Peterson. So Nicole Peterson was my very first friend that was not a relative. Nicole Peterson was a white girl who lived next door to me. And she had a sister and a mother and a father, and her life looked really different from mine. But Nicole made sure that she befriended me in a way that was not just a surface friendship, but she actually wanted to get to know me. She actually cared about, my life and who I was, and she cared about protecting me at a young age. She knew at 5 years old, Nicole knew that my life was different than hers. And in our relationship, we were on the same school bus. We went to the same elementary school. And every place that we were in together, Nicole was there as an advocate for me at that very young age. I didn't even know what solidarity was. And I'm sure Nicole didn't know what solidarity was either. But she knew there was something in her heart that told her that it is important for me to make sure that I am seeing Keonta as a person and that I am protecting her as a girl. She's my friend. So that was my first introduction into what I would call brutal solidarity among women. It was just among very young women. The second woman that I want to tell you about is a woman named Susan Buss. Susan Buss was also a white woman. She was a white woman who happened to be a professor, and she taught at the Spanish immersion school that I attended as a young girl. Now, Miss Buss was everything different than me. I am this young Black girl coming from the inner city of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, being bused out to this Spanish immersion program, the school that took us 1 hour to get to every day, 1 hour there and 1 hour back. And Miss Buss was this white woman who had gone to college and studied Spanish, and she had accomplished things in her life, and she was very well respected in the community and very well respected within the educational system. Well, what she did for me, something so small. At lunchtime, again, I was at that school from elementary, so K4 all the way up until eighth grade. What she would do was at lunch, she would bring me into her office and she would let me paint. She would let me draw. She would talk about things with me. She would share her world with me, share her life with me. She would tell me how important I was. And she would tell me all of the things that she thought that I was capable of doing. Now, you might say, well, how is that brutal solidarity? It absolutely is, because it is a woman who is from a different place than me, who said, no matter what, this young girl can make it, can succeed, can be successful, and I can help her do that, and I can help her to get there. The other two women that I want to share with you about is these are these ladies, and I want you to know that all of these people are still friends of mine today in 2021. In fact, I'm going to reach out to Nicole Peterson this afternoon and tell her I talked about her today. But the other two women that I want to share with you about, the first, her name is Leslie Handy. And Leslie Handy is a Black woman who is still alive today. Leslie Handy is, I believe, 83 now. And I met Leslie Handy as a very young woman. I was a teenager. I had just become a teen mom, and Leslie Handy came into my life. Now, Leslie and I's story seems somewhat similar because we're both culturally connected. We're both Black women. She was an older Black woman. I was a younger Black woman trying to find my way. But what made us so different is that our experiences were completely opposite. Leslie was very successful in the business community in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm from. And she certainly didn't have to take time to invest in a young woman like me. That's not something she had to do. She did that because she cared about the advancement of women. She cared about investing in women, young women, old women, all women. And so Leslie Handy was critical for me, and yet another example of brutal solidarity. Without even knowing she was being an example of brutal solidarity, she was. The last person that I would say made the most impact in my life around solidarity among women was a woman by the name of Eva Ramona Owens. And Miss Owens at the time I was in a program that was called the Independent Living Program. And Miss Owens was a community worker who supported the young ladies in the program. And what I learned from her, she had this really special ability. Even now, again, in 2021, she calls me, she had this really special ability of helping young women to see themselves in the future. Everything that I do today, when I'm able to speak to other young women and help them see themselves in the future, it's all because of Eva Ramona Owens. She was able to see something that I could not see. She connected with me as a young woman, but she also was able to just connect to my spirit and connect to who I could become. She saw something that I didn't even know was possible. And it was because of her that I was able to continue to move forward and continue to push myself and do the things that would help to make a difference in this world. There are so many barriers to women living in solidarity together. And I want to talk about some of the barriers, but I want to be really honest about those. I would hope that everyone who invites me to come and speak to their groups, that they understand that if I accept the invitation, I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to tell you the truth in a way that you might not have heard it before, but that is my responsibility to do so. And so I want to talk about the true reasons why there are barriers that prevent us from being able to connect as women and connect interculturally And so this is going to be some tough stuff to hear because you may hear about yourself in this. Now, luckily, you won't have to admit that it's you. Don't raise your hand. I don't want to see you raise your hand. I don't want you to out yourself or anything like that. I just want you to hear it and think about if you have ever done any of these things or shown up in any of these ways. For many women, our number one barrier to connectedness is jealousy. Is jealousy. I see people shaking their hands. I see you, Dr. Messina, shaking your head. Yes, jealousy. Jealousy of each other, jealousy of each other's accomplishments, jealousy of each other's shine, I'll call it, shine. And that actually is so detrimental to us coming together as a gender, one, but also just as a community, this gets in the way. The reality about jealousy is this, and here is the piece that people don't tell us, but I'm going to tell you because I love you. The reality of jealousy is this falsehood that someone else has something that you can have or should have. That is not real. What you should have is what you have. What they have is what they have. That's their path, and you have a path. And all of us individually have a path that if we follow our paths, we will all get to the best version of ourselves that there is. And so it really doesn't make sense to look at another person and devalue who they are because their value looks different than yours. That's like a waste of time. So that's one of the barriers that gets in the way of our connectedness. Another one is envy. Envy. Oh, the little green monster that's not so little. When we envy what someone else has, it really is less about them and more about us. There is something inside of us as women, that, and this happens with men too, but I'm talking to women today. There is something inside of us that says, I want that thing that that person has. I want that thing that Lisa has. I want that thing that Terry has. Lily, I like your braids and I want them. I want Lily's braids. I want this thing, right? Here's the secret in that. What is Lily's is Lily's. What's Lisa's is Lisa's. Terry, your stuff is your stuff. Melinda, that's your stuff. Barbara, that's your stuff. Chantel, that's your stuff. Laura, your stuff is your stuff. And we don't have to envy that because we all are special and unique in our own ways. And when we don't recognize that uniqueness in us, in each of us individually, then we prevent ourselves from being able to connect as women and to really advance the lives of women all over the world. I often say you can change the world, and people I think, Keonta, please, the world. Yeah, I'm just trying to get my kids up for school on time and log them in virtually and log into work. I don't know about changing the world, but the truth is when we change ourselves and we change what is around us, we inadvertently change and shift the world. That's real. That's a real thing. We change and shift the world. Another thing that I think prevents us as women from connecting to each other is insecurity. Ooh, we don't like to talk about insecurity. That's like the word that you're not supposed to say, insecurity. But the truth is we all have insecurities about something. Always. Listen, I'm gonna tell you about my insecurity right now. Right now, is that I have all my life wanted to have a flat stomach. I want one so bad I don't even know what to do. Listen, I just want to cross my legs without them slapping back this way because my stomach is in the way. So we all have insecurities, no matter where you are in life, no matter how successful you are, how much money you have. None of that changes the fact that we have insecurities because we're human. We're human. And that's okay, but we cannot allow those insecurities to be something that separates us from one another. Those of you who are in the higher education system, so whether you're a professor or faculty or staff or wherever you are along the spectrum of higher education, you need each other. You need each other. There's no way around it. Your success is tied up in Lily, I'm picking on you because I like your braids. Lily, your success is tied up to Dr. Kimberly's success. It really is. There's no way around it. When she succeeds, when Dr. Kimberly succeeds, Lily, that means that a door is open for you to succeed, that she's walked through and made a pathway for you. So that is the reason why we all have to look at how we show up in the lives of other women and how we allow our own things, so our own trauma, our own insecurity, our own envy, our own jealousy, how we allow those things to interrupt the beauty that is relationship between women. We have to really think about that. It's so serious. Right now, as a result of this pandemic, we've learned a couple things. We've learned as a nation that we are weak. We are weak because we need one another. We learned as a nation, which I feel like we should have known this already, that disparities exist because some group did not think about some other group. Simple as that. Some group did not think about some other group. So we're seeing the magnitude of the impact of those disparities. That's something we learned from the pandemic. But another thing that we learned from the pandemic is that I don't care if people get on your last nerve. Well, when you can't see them for a year, you love them all of a sudden. You'd love to see them. You'd love to be in the same room with them. You want to come to a meeting with them. You want to run into them at the grocery store because we need each other. There is no way around that. And this pandemic has offered us an opportunity to see this. Every year, we celebrate International Women's Month. And what happens every single year, which again, this is funny to me, but every single year, what we do is we identify the women who have done really great things and things that everyone should be proud of and everyone should know and celebrate. Well, this year, I am going to challenge you to do something a little different. We know that those women who have accomplished great things and made big strides in our world, they will be celebrated. There are organizations all over the world that are celebrating them right now. I would like for you to take this month as an opportunity to celebrate someone who you know in your life, be it a coworker, be it a neighbor, be it a service provider that you know that is a woman that is doing something to make the world better. All of you know someone. Every single one of you know someone. So this year, let's try to celebrate that person. It's not always the big stuff. Everybody's not going to do huge things, but everybody does make a difference in the things that they do, no matter the size that they are. So I'd like for you to try doing that this year. Secondly, I'd like to challenge you to do this. Now, this one isn't so easy. Those of you who are white women, raise your hand. Y'all raise your hand if you're white, because I don't want to make no assumptions. Okay. Okay. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. Perfect. 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 Those of you who are white women, what I am challenging you to do, and I am asking you to do from the very deepest part of my heart, is to get to know women of color, not just work with them, not just see them in passing, but actually get to know women of color. Get to know some, even if it's just one. If it's me, I'll be your one. You guys know how to find me. I'll be your one. Let's start with me, and then I'll introduce you to some of my friends. Dr. Lori Hunt, I'll introduce them to you. So let's try that. Secondly, for women of color, let's see how many women of color we have on the call. Okay, I see your hand, Pam. I see your hand, Grace. Perfect, perfect. Hada, I see your hand. Dr. Hunt, I see your hand. Leathia, Did I pronounce that correctly? Okay, come off of mute and tell me because I want to get it right. Are you trying to come off of mute so that I can pronounce your name correctly?
Oh, it did. It's Lethea.
Okay, now I can hear you.
It's
Lethea. Lethea, very good. Thank you, Lethea, for coming off of mute so that I can get that right. Those of us who are women of color, we need to step outside of our comfort zones as well and get to know women who are different than us. We have to get to know each other, and the onus does not fall on any one person or one group or one population. That's not how it works. We all are equally as responsible to making change and connecting with other people. So we are responsible for learning about others that are different than us. Those of us who are men on the call, because there's several guys on the call. I don't want to leave you out. Dr. Keith, Dr. Bradley, I don't want to leave you out. So those of you who have women in your lives who may be friends, family, coworkers, maybe some of the women on the call, I am asking you this year for International Women's Month that you reach out and build a deeper relationship with just one woman. Just start there. Start there because one will lead to two and two will lead to a million. But get to know people for who they are. Get to know women for the specialness that they bring to this world. It is going to be challenging because right now we're living in a time that everything is challenging. Everything, every little thing, just trying to get groceries. I'm telling you, figuring out how to order them or go pick them up and all this stuff, everything is a challenge. But what is not a challenge is our innate ability to see one another. We see one another whether we want to or not. Just looking, just because your eyes will see. So that is not a challenge. We have to figure out how we address the barriers that keep us apart, how we see one another in our wholeness, and how we see each other collectively and our connectedness, and how that, all of those things, the sum of that will change our very world. It will change our world. We don't need another keynote to tell you about all the great things because we know about the great things. We need to have conversations that challenge us to be bigger, to be better, to show up differently. And I hope that, and I believe that SFCC is committed to having those kinds of conversations. I want to just go back really quickly, and then I want to give us time for questions because that's important to me. I want to go back to Nicole Peterson. Nicole Peterson, she recently had a son. She has a young son who I think he's about 8 years old. Brady is about 8 years old, and he is a child who is on the autism spectrum. And Nicole is a single mother, and so I am able to, through social media, watch kind of what happens in Nicole's life and what's going on with Brady and the challenges that she's having. And when I am able to simply respond via social media, just respond and let her know that I see her, that I'm there for her. If there's anything I can do to support her or Brady, that also is brutal solidarity. It doesn't have to look like this big giant thing. And so I am encouraging you all to make the small steps, do something small, something small. And we're going to change the world either way because the world is changing either way. So it can be something very small that we do that helps another woman feel seen and helps another woman feel connected, which is at the end of the day, that's really our mission to do. So I think we're right at time to offer opportunities to ask questions or give comments. You all know I like to talk to you and hear from you. So this is a conversation, which means you have to come in too. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. And I'd love to hear your ideas about something that you can personally do to increase connectedness among women. Hada, you can take it over from here.
Thank you, Trustee Duncan, so much for your presence this morning and talk here. Now, at this time, I would like to say that the chat is open for everyone who's comfortable typing questions, asking questions, any comments you have, to share with this morning, or tips, as Trustee Duncan invited you to share with everybody on the chat on the call today.
Or I'll just call you. We can make this easy, or we can make it the other way. I can call you. How about this? Lori Hunt, Dr. Hunt. Good morning. Good morning, beautiful. Tell me, what are you willing to do to increase or demonstrate the value of solidarity and connectedness among women?
Good morning. Thank you for the question. I think one of the strategies that you suggested, just reaching out and talking to each other and getting to know each other, I feel like I've been committed to that in my career. So I would be happy to invite those conversations to continue building that solidarity.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to want you to report back to me that you met somebody new and what you learned and what connection there is and what you guys can do as a result of that relationship. Thank you. Miss Barbara Simmons. That's right, it's you. Hello.
Oh, I'm thinking so hard on your point about envy. And I did have a time when I so envied a woman's physical beauty, just envied it so much. And I don't know why I was able to flip it to celebration. And I was thinking of that as you were separating out. What were you saying? You were saying, oh shoot, I'd lost the way you flipped that. You went from envy to, well, you said that's yours. That's yours. It belongs to you, not someone else. I like that also. So I'm going to think on those lines of another person where I'm envying something and how I can flip it.
Can you think of someone that you can get to know that you may not know a lot about?
I can. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you do.
I don't want to, the person's here, so I don't want to say that.
Don't say their name. It's a secret. Don't say it. Person,
Right.
You're here, but don't say the name. Okay, this is good. Lily, my beautiful Lily with the beautiful braids. What can you do?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, I mean, as you were talking, I was thinking about a lot of women in my life and how appreciative I am of all of them right now, especially, and for the past year, and how difficult it's been for so many reasons. And I think for a long time, I was afraid to tell women how much I appreciated them in my life, even if it was for small things. And I'd like to get better at that and thank them for showing up for me in really small ways.
Absolutely. That's great, Lily. Thank you. Sammy with the beautiful lights in the background.
Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
Tell me what can you do? What can you do to create better connectedness among women? Excuse me.
Probably just reach out more, I think. I feel like that's a big problem with women because like we worry about judgment and like all these things, and I feel like that's a big reason why women don't reach out to each other, but really we need to like realize we're one, I guess.
That's right. And it is so easy to judge. That's one of the easiest things to do, is to look at somebody else and say what they're not doing or should be doing or could be doing. But we gotta decide as a community and as a sisterhood to just vibrate a little higher. And what I mean by that is we don't go for the low-hanging fruit. We don't do the things that are easiest to do, but we actually challenge ourselves to do something greater and to show up in a greater way. Okay, McCall. Hello.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm just thinking about how hard it is to stay connected when we're not in the offices together. So sometimes just a little email will brighten my day when somebody notices you've gone above and beyond. So I would like to pay a little bit more attention to keeping those connections strong with women while we're not in the offices, and also across divisions. So getting out of my student affairs comfort bubble and reaching out across the district and across our campus too to other areas.
That's absolutely great. And that's a good point, that it's It's reaching out beyond your circle of influence, beyond your normal work colleagues. How can you reach beyond that to touch someone else? Because all of you in all the different divisions, I believe and I hope that everyone is there for the betterment of the students who access Spokane community colleges. So even if you're in a different district and working in a different department, you still are there for this same shared value and shared reason. So figure out ways to connect together. Patty, how about you?
You took me by surprise, but I have something to say. Um, I teach drawing, and envy and feeling competitive and feeling less than those are big issues in a drawing class. And so what you're talking about, it applies to all students, but certainly to women, I think probably, I don't know, maybe more than men. Working with students to encourage that sense of community and that we can support each other and that everyone is unique, just as you were saying, and to follow their own path, and that, you know, whether you're beginning drawing or advanced, you have something to offer to the class. And I think working with that and really emphasizing that is as important. I really think it's as important as drawing skills, you know, because those are things that carry over to life more than drawing skills. So drawing is the vehicle. It's not the end. It's just the vehicle to do that. So, and this has been great. I love your observations. I've been taking some notes.
Very good. Thank you for sharing. Amy Wolfson, come on in and talk to me. What can you do? What can you personally do?
Hi, good morning. I think I was thinking about when you were talking about getting in touch with people, I think that the past year has taught me that with everything else I'm trying to juggle, it sometimes are those relationships that take the back seat because I'm so focused on what's right in front of me. And so to take the time out, both for myself as self-care, as well as to reconnect with some of those relationships. I don't want to say lost, but put on hold because there were so many other things that needed my attention, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. If you ask yourselves this question, because I'm asked these kinds of things all the time, and I think very deeply about how to change our world, how to change our city. And this is one of the questions that I get, I feel like all the time. What is at the basis of the critical societal issues that we face today? So what is at the basis of racism? What is at the basis of hunger? What is at the basis of homelessness? And I'll tell you, my answer is always the same. It's that we're not connected to one another. It's so simple. You know, there's people studying this stuff everywhere, but it really boils down to we are not connected. And because we are disconnected, we are not always able to see the impact of our actions and decisions on others. So that comes in any form, again, back to whether you're talking about racism or homelessness or hunger, it doesn't matter. It comes down to we are not connected to the experiences of each other. And so when we think about during International Women's Month, when we think about this small concept of just connecting to other women, that is allowing us to be a little bit closer to addressing those issues that plague our society. It really is, because it allows you to see how someone else is living, what resources someone else has, what resources someone doesn't have, what challenges someone has, what barriers someone has. It's all about just connecting. So I really encourage you all to think about this beyond just this month, beyond International Women's Month. Think about it next month. You know, think about the experiences of people of color beyond Black History Month. Think about it beyond Asian Pacific Islander History Month, beyond Cinco de Mayo. Like, think about all of the experiences of others year round. I'd like to hear from some of the guys, and then I think we're going to be out of time so soon. It always happens. Mr. Bradley Beck, how, you know, I was calling you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I was thinking about this more in terms of the way you encourage the women to not be jealous or envious or insecure on other women. I was thinking about that around some of my male relationships. And it seemed a good way for me to go. And I had an interesting thing happen the other day. I was on a long bike ride. For those who don't know, I ride a bike a lot. And I'm on a bike club and we race and stuff like that. And we were riding on some old dirt roads, and my bike broke to the point where I couldn't ride it. And we were out of cell coverage and everything else. And it was cold and windy and rainy and everything. And so it goes to I realized when you were talking that what two of my club mates did was I sat on my bike and they each pushed me for about 5 miles till we got to a place where we had cell coverage and could get my son to come get me. And I thought, you know, we're training, we're working together. These are people that are all bigger, better, stronger than me as bicyclists. But we were having fun. But I realized that I don't have any jealousy for them, or maybe a little bit of envy, in that I want to be as strong as them, but not in a bad envy way. And I felt insecure when they were pushing me through this backcountry dirt roads and stuff, but they were totally supportive with it and everything. And I thought, and it just when you were telling your story, those three things came together from that experience of mine. And I don't know, it just resonated really well. So I was thinking about how much I appreciated that, and but I still felt that insecurity when they were helping me. It's hard to accept help, I think, in those regards. So anyway, so I appreciated bringing those three things together.
We're human. It's okay that you felt it. We're human. We just have to recognize what it is that we're feeling and make sure that it doesn't get in the way of our relationships moving forward. Dr. Keith, talk to me.
Good morning, Trustee Duncan. Thank you so much for joining us again today. I really enjoyed hearing you speak once again, and just gave me some opportunity to begin to think about some of this. I really appreciated when you were saying with Dr. Messina and talking to Lily and saying, well, you know, when Dr. Messina succeeds or excels, then so does Lily and all the other women that are here at the Falls. I thought about it a little bit, that I am a common link about, amongst a bunch of the women here at the college. Several, or should I say all of my direct reports are female. So I have the opportunity to work with women of color, white women, individuals who are mothers and daughters and wives. And one of the common links that they have is me. So I think that it's very important that I stay up front and stay cognizant of the things that they're doing and the things that they're trying to achieve to be successful. I can help them in their leadership and help them to excel in their leadership. So that gives me the opportunity as a man to support women and be an encouraging force for women. So just making sure that we all continue to share and grow within our division is something that I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to after hearing this talk.
Oh, this is exciting. Oh, this is exciting. Very good. Mr. Brady, Mr. Jim Brady, can we hear from you before we turn it back over to Hada?
And here I thought I might escape.
Never. I see.
I knew. No, it's very interesting to me. In this room right now are two women presidents that I have worked for and learned a lot from. I have peers in this room. I have people that fact, report to me. And I guess I'm listening to you, and my style over the course of my career tends to be more motivational, inspirational. You know, I borrow a lot from my generation, the sage on the stage approach. You know, I'm going to inspire you to do more. But you reminded me with what you've shared that so very often true friendship and true support does not come with confidence. It comes from a heightened perception, intentional listening, and not having to feel like you know all the answers before you engage. So the thought I'm taking away from this is how to be a better person of support without the confidence, without the self-assuredness, with, you know, to be that good friend that you gave examples of, and what it means to be that friend and that person of support for people.
Oh, this is excellent. Thank you so much for that. Hada?
Trustee Duncan, I think we have two hands up.
Yeah.
One is Danica and Dr. Tajima Prager. So Danica, I see you have your hand up.
I just wanted to say, I thought it was really important when you talked about women connecting to each other. And as a mother of 2 teenage daughters, I think it's really important that we teach our children this as well. And I just wanted to share, before all of this COVID and going to school online, every Friday when I drop my daughters off at school, I would tell them to compliment another young women in their class, someone that they weren't friends with or someone that they didn't really relate to try to connect with them. So I just thought that was something I would like to share as well.
That's excellent. That's excellent to be teaching that to your teens too, because we don't do that as women, as grown women. So I think that you can even put that out for all of us every Friday now from here on out. Make sure you connect with someone and compliment another woman because it is amazing what we can do and build when we do that. And it's also amazing the impact that you can have in someone's life just by seeing them, by genuinely seeing them. That is life-changing for many, many people. Dr. Prager?
I just wanted to say that there's so many people here that I'm so happy to see, not surprised. But when you were talking about what Dr. Messina was doing, one thing that I've, in my long career of being alive, is that it's the people around us, not always the leaders or the labeled leaders that pave the way, that make it wonderful for the rest. It's all of you and so many of you that I've worked with. It's, you know, I've being retired a long time. It's not like, oh, some of my direct reports, but it's the people, the Jims, the Bonnies, the Barbs, the Barbaras, the Adas, Ping Ping, Amy. Well, I could go on by just sorting through, but you have elevated me and all your peers through what you do. So the leadership just comes from so many places, or the successes.
Absolutely. And I would even go so far as to say, Dr. Prager, that you may have, without even knowing that you were doing this, demonstrated brutal solidarity among your staff. So those people who you were able to help elevate to additional responsibilities in different positions, those individuals who you trusted to take on parts of the work, all of that is a means of solidarity. It really is. And all of it is so critical in each person's life. And I bet you, if it was, let's say, fast forward 20 years from now, if one of those individuals were to be talking in a context like this, they would likely mention your name in the same way that I've mentioned Eva Ramona's name and Nicole Peterson's name. So very good work for you too. And thank you for just being here, and thank you for them for the work that you've done in their careers as well.
It's been great. A lot of people here. Thanks.
Thank you. And I see a lot of messages in the chat box, a lot of thank you, a lot of appreciation and gratitude for this morning presentation. Do we have any more questions? It is time to speak up if you do. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah. Hi, Trustee Duncan. Thank you so much for this second talk in 2 weeks. You inspire us again. Can you share with us a experience that you feel like maybe you change a woman who either has jealousy towards you or envy towards you, but you step out of the comfort zone to something like that? Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. There was actually a situation that wasn't that long ago. This happened last year. There was a woman in the community who was very upset with me because she perceived the way that I am and the way that I show up in the world. She perceived that as a threat to who she is and to other people and how they show up. And so she let me know in a lot of words how she felt, and that I am that she doesn't care for me with my perfect this and perfect that. And I took that as an opportunity to say to her, there actually is nothing about me that's perfect. Actually, this is just me. This is just who I am, and it is no bearing on who you are. It doesn't change anything about you at all. And so I'm sorry that you feel that way. So I didn't take it as an opportunity to get mad and lash back out, because that's not really helpful. I really was able to hear what she was saying, hear the way that she was experiencing me and the way that she was feeling about herself, and not fight about it. It wasn't anything to fight about. Sometimes you have to, when encountered with people who may have envy or jealousy towards you, the best thing that you can do is show them who you really are. It really is. That's the best thing that you can do. So communicate with them, be open to hearing their point of view, and be open to correcting the areas where they're not right about. Just to share that with them and still see them as human and, capable of all things good too.
Thank you, Trustee Duncan. At this time, I would like just to read a few of the comments that we have in the chat. Lots of appreciation from Chantel. Thank you, Trustee Duncan. I appreciate the time you took with us today, your openness, and for challenging us. From Barbara Simmons, thank you, Trustee Duncan. One of the realest Zoom meetings I've been in. Thank you, Trustee Duncan, and I appreciate your word of wisdom, from Amy Wolfson. From Anna Gonzalez, thank you so much, Trustee Duncan, for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today. There is another comment here. Thank you so much for your generosity of spirit and for your challenge today. There are many comments here. I just wanted to make sure to read a few of them to you this morning. And I sincerely appreciate your presence this morning and the powerful tips you shared for us today to feel safe and connected. And I think there is a lot of power in the human connection. You have demonstrated to us what brutal solidarity and sisterhood is today. And at this time, I'd like to to thank you tremendously on behalf of the committee and the community college for your inspirational words, and for your support as a trustee for the community colleges of Spokane. So at this time, if I would like to close, that brings us to the end, and I'd like to close the session and give you an opportunity to say a few more words if you wanted to share any departing words with the audience today.
Absolutely. Thank you all for all the kind comments. I'm telling you, I need to come and hang out with you guys every day, because it is very heartwarming to just hear when your words are helpful to somebody else's world. What I would say in closing to you all is that we are in a really tough time in our world right now for everyone. No one is being missed. We are in a challenging time. And even in those moments where you feel like you are not able to do one more thing, you're not able to push yourself one more step, there is no more that you have to give, what I would encourage you to know and trust that in your heart, there is always more to give. There's always more. You will never run out. You will not, it just is not possible. You will never run out. And so push yourself beyond those moments that feel like this is the worst thing that could be happening. It actually might be the worst thing that could be happening, but you're stronger than that. And as women, and this is to all the women on the call, as women, we have endured so many things for so long that there is no pandemic that can break us. There is no pandemic that can break us. And so if we continue to connect with one another, continue to care for one another, that is the way that we'll all get through this time together. And I hope that you all take care of yourselves, do the things that you need to do so that you are healthy. That's first. Take care of yourself, and then you can take care of the students, your staff, your coworkers, all that stuff, but take care of you first. And thank you for having me today as your guest. I appreciate the offer. I really do.
Thank you very much. Thank you for today.